Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here on this 24th, Monday, the 24th of June, 2024. Let's take a look and see what's going on out there. This isn't good. You can see the somber look on Putin's face. It says that explosions rock Crimea and emergency is declared in Sevastopol. It says all public statements from Putin have been canceled, according to Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov. Putin does not intend to make a special statement regarding the terrorist attacks in Sevastopol and Dagestan, Peskov stated. It's very somber, the mood over there. Something's up, something's afoot. And I notice the war has changed its what's the word I put on this? A little bit of a change in the war fronts right now. There's something going on right now, big time, and I think a lot of it's got to do with these attacks and stuff. That's not the article I was looking for. A second. No, just a second. I'll find it here. Crimean missile strikes. This was big. Evidently, people were swimming on the beach or whatever. It says Moscow on Monday warned of consequences for America. It accused Washington of being involved in deadly strikes on Russian-occupied Crimea using U.S.-made rockets. According to the Russian state-owned the Kremlin spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, said, "Time will tell," he said, "what the response would be to the use of what Moscow claimed were 5 Army tactical missile systems, or ATACMS, donated to Ukraine by the United States. Of course, the involvement of the United States and America's hostilities and direct involvement in hostilities that result in the death of Russian civilians. This, of course, cannot but have consequences," he said. And he says, "Time will tell." I was taking a look on here, and it was one of those things, that are very, very bad. And there's been terror attacks also in conjunction with the attacks in Crimea. There's also terrorist attacks on the synagogues and churches in Russia. And now, I don't know if there's any connection or not. We don't know anything really much about this, except 19 people were killed after an army of armed men attacked a synagogue, churches, and police offices in Russia's Dagestan region on Sunday. And they're announcing 3 days of mourning starting on Monday. It says shortly before 6 p.m. on Sunday, some attackers used automatic weapons to attack a synagogue and an Orthodox church in Dagestan. Now, what does all this mean for you guys over here? Well, this is part of the whole thing that's going on over there surrounding the war in Ukraine. And the reaction of the Russians and stuff to this stuff that's going on is we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But we're in that period, that little lull period right now before we see how this pans out. So there's a very somber look on Putin's face right there. I'm a little bit concerned about this. Now, Israel and Hezbollah are moving closer to an all-out war. And this could really affect the price of oil. Because this could be a big step toward a regional war in the Middle East. And, this whole thing, if it blows up, oil could just, I'm telling you, it could just be hard to get. We went through a period in the 1970s, I remember it, when there was big long lineups at the gas pumps, and you couldn't get gas. We could see in a situation where we see lineups at the pumps again. If we get a war in the Middle East. And the price, I don't even want to begin to go there. I'm going to tell you guys, honestly. If you got, I moved into a 4-cylinder. I was into a 6-cylinder. I moved into a 4-cylinder. And I really do notice a difference in gas mileage. Quite recently. And the car I moved into is just as big as the car that had the 6-cylinder. The 4-cylinder. And yes, it is a little bit sluggish. Be careful when you pass with a little 4-cylinder driving a big car. Because it's going to take a little while to accelerate to get by the other guy if you have to pass. But everything else is fine. You can do the highway speed. And you've seen all these people out there, like they got these big heavy duty engines, these Hellcats and stuff like that, over 1,000 horsepower and stuff like that. It's only going to get you in trouble. You cannot exceed the speed limits. No matter what kind of, and if you're out there roaring that thing down the highway, you know what? You're just, every cop within hearing distance around you is going to be alert. So if there's you might not see him, the cop. He might be down the other street or something behind the alleyway and something, and you go roaring, he hears you, and the red and blues will be flashing. He'll have you, and what's that? That's going to cost a lot of money again. It costs a lot of money to get the car. It costs a lot. You're better off with a little 4-cylinder and just get a good little 4-cylinder to get you where you're going. And I'm going to tell you, I'm happy about it because I was only getting 18 miles to the gallon with my 6-cylinder. I did a gas test. The first run, I got 33 miles to the gallon. I did a second run the other night, and I got around 30.5 miles to the gallon. And that was with the air conditioning on and half city driving. Half city with the air conditioner on. Like half of it was city driving. I got still over 30 miles to the gallon with that little 4-cylinder, and I'm happy about that. It's nearly doubling. I only got 18 before, now I'm getting 30. That's nearly double. And I'm happy about that because it means I'm not going to have to, when I go to the gas pumps, I'm not going to have to pay as much. So anyway, how did I get talking about that? Because Hezbollah is moving closer to all-out war with Israel. And if you guys don't know what that means, it means that this war in the Middle East could expand big time. And in the end, it could, there is things that's called the Samson option that Israel has. But they're only going to use that if they're pushed into a corner. But I'm going to tell you, all around in a circle around them are these other countries who basically don't want them there. They don't like them. In Iran, ask an Iranian what their opinion is of Israel and Israel being there. Who will Donald Trump pick to be his vice president? Here's your list of front runners. Okay, so we're down to the point right now where Donald Trump is the election's only a few months away, guys. Only like, what, 4 months, 5 months? We're getting that close. And so Doug Burgum is one, and another one is J.D. Vance. Another one is Marco Rubio. Another one is Tim Scott. Another one is Elsie Stefanik. It's the only woman on his short list. Ben Carson. Byron Donalds. I guess that's his short list right there. I think that's the short list of who he's going to pick to be vice president, front runner for his vice president, for his VP. Now, Russia and North Korea. Oh, yeah, they're clinking glasses together. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, they've signed this defense pact. But North Korea has a defense pact with China as well. And so, what you're seeing here is the core of the power of the BRICS is China, North Korea, Russia. Like, you're looking at the core, and I don't know. There's other countries in the periphery around there that are very powerful too, very notable. I'm not going to note them all, but all three of these countries that I named are all nuclear powers. And Seoul, South Korea says that North Korea has resumed their balloon launches, where they're dropping crap and parasites and everything that you can think of. They're dropping the worst kind of garbage on South Korea. And there's been incursions in past the DMZ quite recently. And there's actually been shots fired, like warning shots, I guess. You know, the war in North Korea never really ended between North and South Korea. They have what's called a demilitarized zone, the DMZ. And so these incursions into the DMZ are very, very serious, because this war could flare up again. North Korea is now a nuclear power. I've heard about 90 nuclear weapons, but I'm thinking it could be an awful lot more, because they've had a lot of time to build them. And now Russia is giving them capabilities. They're working together, sort of, and so Seoul, South Korea is not far from North Korea. Let me tell you, they're close. I think they're almost within artillery range. Now, the U.S. Budget Office and the federal budget deficit. The spending this year alone will be $1.9 trillion, I guess, over budget. That's $1,900 billion over budget. This is totally unsustainable. And it's, Gerald Celente says that when they get in financial difficulties and stuff, what they do is they take you to war. And he was saying that for a long time, before any of this happened, before we seen these wars spring up. And I kind of took it with a grain of salt. I shouldn't have, because he's absolutely right. But the problem is, with modern warfare, is it could annihilate the entire Earth. And so they have to try to do these proxy wars now, so that they don't blow up the entire Earth. But the proxy wars can lead to hot wars and direct confrontation between superpowers. And we're very, very close to that now, which could then lead to blowing up the Earth. We are so close right now, we're almost like... I saw a motorcycle driver the other day, and he was going around a turn in a race, and his shoulder was coming right down and almost touching the tarmac, or the pavement. It was absolutely skimming, just so close his shoulder was as he went around that turn. That's how close we are right now to nuclear war. Now, this U.S. budget here that's driving things to war is because they've got a Ponzi scheme running here in the West, and now we're reaching the final stages of the Ponzi scheme. We're at the end game. And a U.S. budget disaster will impoverish all Americans. And this includes us Canadians, too. We're going to be impoverished. And what it's doing is it's going through us in layers. The first layer is already getting hit right now. About 20 million Americans in the first layer of this layer cake. And these are low-income earners. The uh, the people who work just jobs on the side and stuff like that, side gigs and stuff like that, and they're getting hit first. And what does it look like, them getting hit? Well, it looks like this. This guy on the park bench with the American flag over him, and he's got his shopping cart full of stuff that he's found off the street. These are the first 20 million Americans who are having trouble right now. Some of them are living out of their cars. Some of them have become homeless. Some of them are living in their parents' basement or whatever, and they can't pay their bills. They can't pay their credit card bills and stuff like that. This is the first wave. This is the first layer of the cake. But it's coming for you. I don't care how high up you are. Now, maybe you're the next layer in the cake, and maybe you're making, I don't know, between, say, 30 and 45,000 a year. That's the next layer of the cake. It's coming for you next. And so it'll be another 20 or 30 million more Americans. And then when it's through, coming through there, it's going to come from the third layer in the cake. And unless you're really rich and you're plugged into this Federal Reserve money, where they, unless you're somebody who's plugged in to the system and getting it fed at the trough, you're going to be part of this layer cake. It's going to come up layer after layer as the inflation rises. And they're spending like drunken sailors out there right now. That's why we got 1.9 trillion. Why we need 1.5 trillion is because the Fed's raising rates and stuff like that. They're cutting off the normal flows of money. In other words, they're kinking the garden hose, and they're bringing in a secondary hose, which inflates everything else. And so the inflation's ultimately going to win. And it's going to come back stronger than ever in the next wave. And so this inflation's going to keep taking out people. It doesn't matter how much money a year you make. It's going to keep moving up through the layers of this cake until it gets to you. It's like rising water, and I mean, you're looking down there and those people, they're drowning because the water's rising. And you say, oh, I'm okay up here, but the water's still rising. It's coming for you. And it's going to come for everybody. Me, you, everybody out here, we're all going to get poor. As the price for everything that you need to support your lifestyle goes up and up and up, it can double. And it can double again in price. And when's it going to get to the point where, first gets to the point where you can't save anything any month. Your money's gone at the end of the month. That's the first. Now, right now, some of you guys might be still saving because you're higher up on the layer cake. But it's going to get eventually, the cost of living is going to go up where you're not saving anymore, and then you start to go into deficit every month. So we're all sinking together. It's taking a little bit longer for the water to get up to that part of the ship where people are like before they were, it's coming. Poverty to everybody. And these guys are going to try to divert our attention. The ones who are responsible for all this are going to try to divert our attention away by going to war. But there's a problem. They go to war, and it could blow up and get them too, and they know it. They say, oh, we better not go too far with this war business. We've used it enough as a cover-up, so they can't see our shenanigans in the financial system. They'll be diverted their attention away toward the war. But if we step too far, if we go a little bit too far, well, the nuclear bombs might come down and get us too. So we better be a little bit careful. And so this whole game, like it's going on right now, they like the war. But at the same time, they're frightened of it going too far into a nuclear exchange. What a situation. Here we got silver today. It's up 13 cents. So we've seen some terrible smashes lately, and that's why it's still under $30. But it's still $29.58. And because of these smashes and stuff, right now it's filtered out all the... I think it's ready to go again up. I think this time it's going to smash through $32. It went to 32 last time and it dropped back, and I think this time she's going to go up past 32. But I think this is just the beginning, guys. Honest to gosh, I think it's just the beginning. Silver, in my mind, is even better than gold. And let's take a look and see what gold's doing today. Gold is at $23.30 today. It's up $10.70. Now, crypto, Bitcoin's not been doing so well lately. It's 61,072 for Bitcoin. Ethereum is at 3,295, and XRP is at 47 cents, 47.9 cents. Now, the Dow Jones today is doing rather well. It's up 378 points at 39,528. So it's getting up near its all-time high again. It's massive. Taking a look at the crude oil is at $81.08. It's up 35 cents on the day. So it's well above $80 now, crude oil. This is going to impact inflation. This will really super impact inflation if we get that war in the Middle East expands out, and it sure does look like it's going to. We could have actually oil shortages and the price going up. The price could double. Instead of $81, we could be looking at $160 a barrel. And how would that... How if you've seen prices actually double on gasoline at the pumps, that'll spread and fan that inflation out to all other category classes, because maybe you're buying strawberries at the supermarket, The box is made out of plastic products. This is made out of oil petroleum products. And the plastic that they put over top of the berries is the same thing. Even the elastic band they put around them. And then when they did the crop, they used diesel fuel, and they had to spray pesticides that were all oil-based, and it just on and on and on. So it'll raise the price even of your strawberries. Everything across the board. Trucking to get them to the market. It's all going to go up. So this is an oil-based economy, so when oil goes up, so does the cost of living and inflation. And we could see an explosion in the price of oil pretty soon. Taking a look at U.S. Treasuries today, we're seeing rising yields on the long end. But not much. 1 basis point on the 5-year. And going out to the 10-year, it's only risen 0.8 of a basis point. So the 10 years at 4.26, and the U.S. 30 years at 4.40. And there you go on your U.S. Treasuries today. And taking a look at our dollar index, and it's been slowly going down. It had a little bounce just in the past little bit, but other than that, it's been going down today. It's down 0.28 at 105.51. Thank you guys for listening to my show. You guys have a great afternoon. Not only subscribe to my channel, but I need more members to my channel. And you get perks for being a member, and it doesn't cost very much. Very minuscule payment once a month. It's really cheap, and it really helps out my channel. So you guys, come on, we need a couple more members. Really do. The channel needs to stay viable. And I've been working a long time here on this channel, and times are getting tight and times are getting tough, and we need channel support. Come on, guys. You can do it. Just push that little join button on there, or in the description there's a link that you can go to, and for like $5 a month, come on, it's cheap. And you get all these perks. You don't have to wait for the show to come out. It's like a half an hour. You got to sit there and wait. It's on your phone. It's ready to watch, but you can't watch it until you get to watch it right away. Bang, like 30 minutes early, when it first comes on. We'll catch you guys in the next show. Have a great day. Bye-bye.